Welcome to the 39th Annual Mississippi College Academic Competition. The competition began the year with 20 teams from high schools across the state. Teams are matched in quiz-like competition utilizing questions developed and tested for the high school level. Our goal is to recognize academic knowledge, to encourage learning, and to foster the spirit of competition and fair play. We have reached the semifinals. This match features East Rankin Academy and Presbyterian Christian School.
Audrey Hawk, sophomore.
Max Gainey, senior.
Dylan Davis, senior.
Peyton Patrick, senior.
Sims Conrad, freshman.
John Stewart Hrom, junior.
Addison Coleman, junior.
Jordan Walker, sophomore.
Natalie Sims, junior.
Michelle Chung, junior.
And we'll begin round one with a math question. What is the sum of the ages of Tom and his mother if his mother is twice as old as Tom and the difference of their ages is 29?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
87.
Yes.
For 10 points, the U.S.'s first hand transplant was performed in 1999 on a man who had used an artificial hand since his hand was blown off 13 years earlier. Which word names a man-made replacement for a missing?
Presbyterian Christian, Addison.
Prosthetic.
Yes.
For 20 points, which word meaning stolen completes the title of Edgar Allan Poe's story, The Blank Letter?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Poached?
No.
No answer from East Rankin. It's going to be purloined. Another toss-up give the common designation for the 1944 Servicemen's Readjustment Act portrayed on one of the World War II stamps. This act provided home and business loans, free education.
East Rankin Academy, Dylan.
The GI Bill.
Yes.
And for 10 points, what two-word name is given to the technical and production changes beginning in the 1700s that are considered a turning point in the world?
East Rankin, Dylan.
The Industrial Revolution.
Yes.
And we have a math question. What improper fraction represents the sum 3 to the 0 power plus 2 to the negative 1 power plus 1 to the negative 2 power?
East Rankin, Dylan.
5/2.
Yes.
For 10 points, which cat and which canary produce the nation's most popular?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Sylvester and Tweedy.
Yes.
For 10 points, which two planets have the most moons, both?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Jupiter and Saturn.
Yes.
For 15 points, because of thousands of precise measurements by Danish astronomer Tycho Brahe, his younger collaborator was able later to discover the laws of planetary motion. Identify this German astronomer.
Presbyterian Christian, John. Johann Kepler. Yes.
For 10 points, which five-letter verb means to swell or fill with gas, as in the abdomen?
Presbyterian Christian, Sims. Yes.
For 10 points, according to the Bible, upon which person did God put a sign to keep him from being killed?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Cain.
Yes.
You'll need your pencils for this one. If Bill has hit 16 of 25 free throws for a 64% shooting result, what was his shooting percentage prior to missing his last 5 free throws?
East Rankin, Dylan.
80%.
Yes.
For 10 points, identify the person whose skull Shakespeare's Hamlet salutes with the words, "Alas, poor blank, I knew him, Horatio."
Presbyterian Christian, Jordan.
Hamlet.
No.
No answer from East Rankin. It's Yorick. Name the U.S. president who was the last Civil War veteran to achieve the presidency. His vice president?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
William McKinley.
Yes.
For 10 points, which import from the Jamestown colony did King James I describe?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Tobacco.
Yes.
Grab your pencils for this one. What is the combined total for the following? The only even prime number, the largest prime number less than 18, and the next prime number after 97.
Presbyterian Christian, John.
120.
Yes.
For 15 points, which African city whose name means new capital or new city was allegedly founded by Dido?
President Christian John. Carthage. Yes.
For 10 points, what name is given to any of the star-like celestial objects believed to be the most distant and the most luminous bodies in the universe?
President Christian John.
Galaxies?
No. East Rankin Max.
Supernovas.
No.
It's going to be Quasar. For 15 points, Boz is the pen name of which British author known for his Martin Chuzzlewit and David Copperfield?
President Christian John.
Charles Dickens.
Yes.
For 10 points, what name is given to large molecules consisting of hundreds or thousands of linked amino acids?
East Rankin Dillon.
Protein.
Yes.
For 10 points, identify the chief of the Oglala Sioux Indians who led the Sioux and Cheyenne in the Battle of Rosebud and 8 days later joined Sitting Bull and Gall. And that concludes round 1. We'll be back in a moment with a preliminary score. At the end of the first round of play, the score is East Rankin Academy 55, Presbyterian Christian School 135. We go back to round 2 and we'll begin with a toss-up question for 10 points. Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen won the first Nobel Prize in Physics in 1901. What had he discovered?
East Rankin Dillon.
X-rays.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify each of the following total numbers. For 5 points, what is the total number for the following? The U's in the name Uruguay plus the S's in Mississippi.
7.
Yes.
For 10 points, degree total for the interior angles of a quadrilateral.
360.
Yes.
For 15 points, according to the traditional song, how many birds are in the 12 days of Christmas? These would include partridge in a pear tree, turtle doves, French hens, collie or calling birds, geese, and swans.
23.
Yes.
And for 20 points, Wax, the rhyme, says Lizzie Borden gave her stepmother and father, although she was acquitted of their murder.
Uh, 13.
No.
Presbyterian Christian.
20.
No.
It's going to be 81 Wax. It says she gave her mother 40, and when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. So we go back to a toss-up question. It is a math question for 10 points, rounded to the 10th place. What is the arithmetic mean of E and pi?
Presbyterian Christian John.
0.
No. East Rankin Dillon.
2.9.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Answer each of the following concerning plants. For 5 points, what adjective describes trees such as maples, elms, and most oaks that lose their leaves annually?
Yes.
For 10 points, what term often designates any of the leaves of a fern?
Fronds.
Yes.
For 15 points, what name beginning with S designates a group of spore-containing structures clustered on the underside of a fern leaf?
Sporozoa.
No.
Presbyterian Christian.
Spermatozoa?
No.
It's going to be Saurus or Sauri. We go back to a toss-up question. According to astronomical researchers, a low-lying moon in darkness, not sleeping sentries, helped which famous night rider warn that the British...
East Rankin Dillon.
Paul Revere.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify each of the following U.S. presidents. For 5 points, which president signed the Louisiana Purchase?
Thomas Jefferson.
Yes.
For 10 points, last full two-term president prior to Ronald Reagan to make a farewell address.
Eisenhower.
Yes.
For 15 points, only president to be married in the White House, who was also the first Democratic one elected after the Civil War.
Grover Cleveland.
Yes.
For 20 points, president in June 1924 when citizenship was granted to American Indians born in the U.S.
Coolidge.
Yes.
And we go back to a toss-up question for 10 points. Which word not only names a traffic circle, chiefly in New England, but completes
Presbyterian Christian, Sims.
Roundabout.
No.
all of the following: blank press, blank engine, blank wing, aircraft, and blank club, designating an international service organization. No answer from East Rankin. It's going to be Rotary. And that concludes round 2. And we'll be back in a moment with a preliminary score. After 2 rounds of play, the score is East Rankin Academy 180, Presbyterian Christian School 135. We move straight into round 3 and we'll start with a 10-point toss-up. Which Irish town name designates a 5-line humorous poem?
East Rankin, Dillon.
Limerick.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify each of the following fictional characters. For 5 points, Londoner with an address of 221B Baker Street.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
For 10 points, Dr. Seuss character who steals Christmas.
The Grinch.
Yes.
For 15 points, the surname of Molly in James Joyce's Ulysses.
Nantucket.
No.
Presbyterian Christian.
Ringwald?
No.
It's going to be Bloom. And we go back to a toss-up question for 10 points. Identify the Mexican peninsula that separates the Gulf of Mexico from...
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Yucatan.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify the composer for the following popular pieces of music. For 5 points, Rhapsody in Blue.
Gregory?
No.
No. East Rankin.
Gershwin.
Yes.
And we're going to go back to the toss-up question for 15 points. Identify the Mexican-Spanish word, possibly from the French for marriage, designating a strolling instrumental band or its members or music.
East Rankin, Max. Yes.
And we go back to some bonus questions for East Rankin. Identify the terms designating each of the following in atomic and nuclear theory. For 5 points, minimum mass in which a nuclear chain reaction can be sustained.
Critical mass.
Yes.
For 10 points, identify the physical constant that was first approximated by French physicist Armand Fizeau in 1849. His contemporary, Jean Foucault, obtained the first accurate measurement of it within 1% in 1862.
The speed of light.
Yes.
For 15 points, the unit of measure equal to 1/10 of a nanometer used to measure light wavelengths.
Angstrom.
Yes.
And for 20 points, name of the fundamental unit of quantum theory equal to 6.626 times 10 to the negative 34th joule seconds.
Planck's constant. That's Planck's constant. Planck's constant.
Yes.
And we go back to a toss-up for 10 points. In 2013, Croatia became the 28th nation to join the European Union. What are the two colors of the EU flag?
East Rankin, Dillon.
No.
No. Presbyterian Christian, John.
Yellow and blue.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Give the word that accompanies each of the following proper names to form a term or expression in common use today. For 5 points, Graham blank.
Cracker?
Yes.
For 10 points. For 10 points, fallopian blank.
Tube?
Yes.
For 15 points, Napier's blank.
Neck?
No.
East Rankin.
No answer.
Okay, it's going to be bones. And we'll go back to a toss-up question. This one's going to be a math question, so grab your pencils. What is the perimeter of an equilateral triangle if one of its sides is also the hypotenuse of a right triangle with legs of 6 inches and 8 inches?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
30.
Yes.
And here are your bonus questions. Identify each of the following aircraft. For 5 points, French fighter plane whose name designates an optical illusion in the desert.
Mirage?
Yes.
For 10 points, the Japanese World War II fighter plane whose name means without measurable value and is a sight setting for a range in gunnery.
0?
Yes.
For 15 points, U.S. World War II plane named for a small wild horse of the American Southwest.
Thoroughbred?
No.
East Rankin.
Mustang.
Yes.
And that is good for 15 points for East Rankin. And that is the end of round 3. We'll be back in a moment with a preliminary score. At the end of 3 rounds of play, the score is East Rankin Academy 290, Presbyterian Christian School 195. We move into the 4th and final round, and we're going to start this round off with a math question for 10 points. What is the prime factorization of the product of 2 factorial times 3 factorial times 4 factorial?
East Rankin, Dillon.
2 raised to the 5th times 3 raised to the 2nd power.
Yes.
For 10 points, while the axial tilt of Uranus is slightly more than a right angle, there is still only one planet that genuinely rotates in the retrograde direction.
East Rankin, Peyton.
Venus.
Yes.
For 10 points, which young girl was known among Indians as Matoaka, but gained fame under another name, meaning the playful one?
Presbyterian Christian, Addison.
Sacagawea?
No. East Rankin, Audrey.
Pocahontas?
Yes.
For 15 points, identify the French city of Miracles, famous for its healing waters and miracles. It is known for its shrine where Roman Catholics believe Saint Bernadette saw visions of the Virgin Mary in 1858.
East Rankin, Peyton.
Versailles.
No. Presbyterian Christian, Jordan.
Marseille?
No.
It's going to be Lourdes. Which word completes William Blake's famous opening line, "Tiger, tiger, burning blank"?
Presbyterian Christian, Jordan.
Fire.
No.
No answer from East Rankin. It's bright. For 10 points, which term beginning with B designates animals such as clams whose bodies are enclosed?
East Rankin, Dillon.
Owls.
Yes.
For For 10 points, Disney and Pixar Studios released their animated A Bug's Life in 1998, a work similar to Ants by DreamWorks. On which fable by Aesop did Disney and Pixar?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
And the Grasshopper.
Yes.
For 20 points, identify the composer of 104 symphonies who is affectionately known as Papa and has been called the father of the symphony.
Presbyterian Christian, Addison.
Hrom.
No. East Rankin, Max.
Hayden.
Yes.
For 10 points, who was John F. Kennedy's vice president?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yes.
Which war was fought between the two English royal houses known as the House of York and the House of Lancaster?
East Rankin, Audrey.
War of the Roses.
Yes.
For 5 points, what word is associated with blind mice and musketeers?
Presbyterian Christian, John.
3.
Yes.
For 15 points, what was the original name of Muhammad Ali?
East Rankin, Dylan.
Cassius Clay.
Yes.
For 10 points, a current controversy in collegiate athletics is paying players for their NIL. What?
East Rankin, Dylan.
Name, image, and likeness.
Yes.
It's a math question for 10 points. If Billy has a total of 14 nickels and dimes and has $1.10, how many nickels does he have?
Presbyterian Christian, Michelle.
Chung.
No.
No answer from East Rankin. It's going to be 6 nickels, and that means he has 8 dimes. For 15 points, name President Trump's first appointment to the Supreme Court.
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Brett Kavanaugh.
No.
No answer from East Rankin. It's Neil Gorsuch. What word beginning with J names the year Moses wanted set aside at the end of each 50 years to free slaves, forgive debts, and...
East Rankin, Max.
Jubilation.
Yes.
For 10 points, identify the Shakespearean play whose 3 weird sisters are probably based on the Norns.
East Rankin, Max.
Macbeth.
Yes.
For 15 points, name the piece of laboratory equipment shaped roughly like a triangle with a straight neck attached.
Presbyterian Christian, Allison.
Erlenmeyer Flask.
Yes.
For 15 points, identify the English colonizer who sent 5 expeditions to North America between 1584 and 1589, although he was prevented by Elizabeth I.
Presbyterian Christian, John.
Walter Raleigh.
Yes.
Give the one-word name for the reddish to black oxide mineral typically formed.
Nope.
And that concludes the end of round 4. We'll be back in a moment with a final score. At the end of 4 rounds of play, the final score is East Rankin Academy 415, Presbyterian Christian School 250. East Rankin Academy will advance to the final round.